Hi everybody, this is Noelle from Petitti Garden Centers, and we're doing a What's in Store today for May, and we're at Strongsville. This is the first time we've come out to Strongsville to do What's in Store. We're kind of excited. I used to work here. I love this location as well as Oakwood, don't get me wrong, but we're going to show you a lot. There's so much color. And of course, if you joined us for our tour of Casa, all of the color that was at our Casa Verde greenhouse is now here in store. So we're super, super excited. And of course, it's a little bit before Mother's Day. And so we wanted to show you some of the container gardens. These are such great gifts for mom. Beautiful thriller mandavillas in the center here. And then we have petunias, New Guinea impatiens, probably some patients, I would imagine. And then also the white euphorbia really filling out the combination. You'll see kind of variations on that, more mandavilla, more verbena, some supertunias as well. But I just love all the different mandavilla and colors that you'll see with these. So some dark pink, some of the lighter pink, really, really gorgeous. So check out some of the container combos. And then when we walk this way, we're in kind of Supertunia, proven winners petunia, Supertunia land, if you will, and you'll see all the colors over my shoulder. And I wanted to show you the newest one is Persimmon. And Persimmon, what I have found is this plant is so cool. The coloring is beautiful, kind of changeable. You'll get corals and pinks and peaches and yellows out of it. But look at how tight and mounded this plant is. Again, all your Supertunias are gonna be good in the sun, well branched, you know, spread out, usually give you anywhere between like 24 to 30 to 36 inches of length and branching, self-cleaning. But this plant seems to really stay very nice and kind of tight in the center. And as the branches move out, the center stays really, really beautiful. And of course, the branches will be flowering too. So look for Persimmon. This is going to be a really, really cool one. I love it for any of those tropical combos. If you're looking to add more oranges or more yellows to a combination, add this one in there too. I think you'll really love it. And then there's also this dark one too. And I'm sorry I passed it, Taylor, but look at that. That is Mini Vista Midnight. So those of you that are fans of that really, really deep, dark purple, almost black on this, has a totally different habit. You can tell it's a very prostrate, very flat petunia, beautiful coloring on the flowers. We just had the roof vents wanting to open because we've already gotten enough temperature, enough heat in here in the greenhouse. So they're opening up if you hear that. But great, great petunia. Awesome, easy to grow. Again, no deadheading, no cleaning. At the most, if you need to, you can always clip them. You know, just give them a little haircut, maybe once every 6 to 8 weeks, and then go ahead and make sure you're feeding them. In the landscape, in combinations, they'll do awesome. Baskets galore right here. Obviously, I have a combination of Calibrachoa, which are your what we call million bells or mini petunias, okay? Lots of different varieties. And if you're looking for really good plants to grow in containers, they really do best in container gardens, window boxes, mixed containers, hanging baskets, obviously, way better in containers than in the ground. So just be aware with the million bells. But these plants are so great for hummingbirds. They love those small trumpets. And of course, a lot of these million bells now, they have like a ring inside, a darker ring inside, or some of them have stars or striping. So my gosh, it's just the best kind of target, if you will, for the hummingbirds to come in and obviously get some nectar. The bees like them too. Butterflies, you'll see them nearby as well. And if you want a large selection of colors, I mean, almost every color of the rainbow. I think the only color we're really missing is like a true blue. There's lots of purples and lavenders and so forth. I think maybe the blue is probably what all the breeders are gonna start looking for, but try these again. Sunny spots, great out there in the garden. Oh my gosh, great plants. And Taylor absolutely loves these, but these are Allistromeria, and we also call them poor man's orchid. Great gift flower, and I'm telling you, great cut flower. Grow them in sunny spots. Again, you can keep them in the container if you like to. Obviously, plant them out in the garden, and we'd recommend you planting them out in the garden when you're done with them in the container. The reason being is sometimes they'll winter over and perennialize for you in the garden. So this potentially has a good success rate at coming back and returning. This dark color is called Louise. Again, as these stems come up, cut them and use them in a vase. The Allistromeria can last weeks at a time in a vase. They are an excellent cut flower. And then look at Ariane. This is a beautiful yellow kind of peachy stripe. Again, there are so many different Allistromerias out there, but really great plants to grow. And again, they can go in the container and the ground. You'll be really successful with them. I also wanted to show you one of our favorites too, the Gerbera daisies right behind me. We have a great batch of orange here, but there's pink, there's yellow as well. And of course with Gerberas, again, great gift plant. It is an annual plant that you can grow inside as well as outside. I will tell you, eastern exposure has always been the best exposure for that plant, taking some of that morning sun and then being able to kind of cool down and be shaded in the afternoon. So think about that when you're trying to place Gerbera daisies. Again, great cut flower, awesome, so cheerful. We love those as well. So check out the Gerbs, they're so cute. More combos I wanted to point out, really beautiful Amethyst Dreams down here. Has all of the shades of purple and lavender through here with the Calibrachoas, the petunias, and also Verbena. And we're gonna show you more Verbena here. Really love this plant, it has really good deer resistance for an annual. Also those clusters of small tubular flowers are always going to be great for the pollinators too. Basically for the sun, we've got some papyrus coming up in the center. It's just starting to really develop and starting to shoot out, but great combo here again, sunny spots. And then beautiful combination of petunias here, kind of that bubblegum pink, and then also a really nice purple with your spikes, standard spikes coming out, Dracaena spikes. So again, awesome combos ready to go right out on a sunny deck, patio, porch, wherever you want them. Right behind me are some of the great SunPatiens. Now again, SunPatiens can go anywhere you want color, shade, sun, anywhere in between, okay? Beautiful combinations. I really do like all the different combos because they will mix the colors. Some will be hot combinations, some will be a little bit cooler combos, but beautiful large flowers again, great for hummingbirds. And again, you can put them anywhere and just enjoy that color all growing season. Again, I wanted to plug Verbenas and hanging baskets. This plant, this is annual Verbena. There are other types of Verbenas, okay, and obviously more of a ground cover type or a spiller type of Verbena. But again, in hanging baskets, in window boxes, in combinations, or even in the ground, you are going to attract pollinators with this plant. It is really easy care. Just don't overwater, okay? They can take some drought and they would prefer to be a little bit drier, on the drier side of watering than overwatering, all right? But great deer resistant annual, again, awesome pollinator plant, so many different colors here. I've got a strawberry here. This one is actually called Hot Lips. It has kind of that multicolor pinky red. And then there's also the pink with the darker pink eye. Lots of colors to choose from. But again, if you're looking for easy care, self-cleaning type of plant and you need some deer resistance, try Verbena. It works really well. Just wanted to show you one of my favorite annual vines. This is Black-Eyed Susan vine, or Thumbergia, and this one's Susie. The series that we're growing is called Susie. And they're so cute. They're just a great plant, easy to grow in sun. You can hang these containers up with a little hook, a little S hook. Go ahead and hang them up. You can place them in the garden. Again, sunny spots is what they would like. But being a Thunbergia, they are fairly vigorous and they will kind of continue to tendril and vine on their own right up through the supports here and then right over the top and out the sides too. So they can grow on fairly large trellises, usually about, covering a 6-foot trellis pretty easily in the growing season. So they're so cheerful. They're so cute. We're over in the shade section of the greenhouse. So if you do have those shadier aspects, basically 6 hours of direct sun or less in the garden where you're growing, try some of these begonias. We have Reiger begonias. Reiger begonias are great for inside, outside. We also have some of the foliage begonias, like Griffin is right by Taylor. She'll show you that one in a moment. But I wanted to show you, this is kind of a newer series for us. It's called Iconia, the series of begonias. And they're sort of cross between an angel wing begonia, which has kind of a very thin, kind of thinner, kind of jaggedy edge on the outside of their foliage, and a tuberous begonia, a little bit fuller leaf. But I wanted to show you all these varieties. This is Miss Malibu, and you can tell big double flowers and single flowers on this plant. Gorgeous, clean foliage, very nice. And again, that angel wing shape, you can kind of see it there where it's sort of rounded at the top and then goes down to a point. This one is called First Kiss. Flowers are not as large, but really profuse. Look at how many flower buds there are there. And then this is actually one of my favorites. This is Upright Fire. Look at that dark foliage. It's kind of has that bronzy, purple, green color to it. And then those beautiful orange begonia flowers. Absolutely love this series. So again, easy care, but again, try to be, put them in the part shade to the shadier spots in the garden, containers and so forth. They'll do really, really nicely for you. Look at these. We are again, in the shade area in the annual house, looking at Roller Coaster New Guinea Impatiens. So you're gonna see these. They have a ruffled edge to them. The flowers are gonna fill out. Nice clean foliage here. Again, with any of your impatiens, you're always going to be attracting hummingbirds to that area. Really fun colors. We've got an orange, which is called Orange is Shaken, which is interesting. We have white, which is called White Lightning, but we also have a violet color, and the violet color is actually called Violet Valraven. So we think Cedar Point should be growing these for around the Valraven roller coaster. I wanted to show you this cute shade combo. I absolutely love it. It's actually from Proven Winners. It's called Gloria Rose, and it is one of the better shade combos out there. Double Impatiens, pink polka dot plant or Hypoestes. And then see, again, I love euphorbia. So this white euphorbia is kind of growing and filling in all of the spaces in between those two plants. Really does a nice job for us. Again, great filler for sun or shade. So you're gonna see the euphorbia kind of peeking out behind all the other plants. And then of course we've got our Dracaena spike in the middle. But great combo for those shady spots. So again, underneath the porch overhang or anywhere where you have a lot of, higher tree canopy that's shading the areas, try Gloria Rose. Also, looking for shade combos, if you're looking for bright color, check out the Coleus combos. Most of these Coleus now, I talk about them a lot. They're very versatile plants, do wonderfully in sun or shade, just to give yourself a lot of color and texture in the garden. And I love these kind of hot, fiery colors here. A lot of Coleus with the coppers, the yellows, the greens. So really pretty. You can place them anywhere you want to. Again, under trees, under the porch or patio, and then out in the full sun as well. So great, easy care plants. When you come to Petitti's, and you're working on a combination garden, let's say you're making something for the porch or deck, go ahead and look for these signs, okay? This will help guide you as far as what plants you need. And so in a combination, you're always looking for one thriller plant. So that's going to be your upright kind of focal point in your combination. And then I usually tell folks to look for one spiller plant. So your trailing plant, it could be flowering, it could be foliage like an ivy, you know, trailing down. And then of course, look for your fillers. So your fillers are going to fill in those spaces around your thriller and your spiller. So do look for these signs that'll help you out, kind of give you some direction as far as what types of flowers you can pick for those types of purposes, thriller, filler, and spiller, and give you some suggestions out there if you need a little help. This is kind of a more compact Snapdragon. It's called Snapshot. Yellows, pinks, mixed colors. I have the whites and the reds right here too. But Snapdragons are awesome, again, if you're looking for more deer resistant annuals, okay? So they're gonna do a very nice job for you in that respect. They do prefer it, it's very true, they do prefer cooler temperatures. So again, if you can grow your snaps in northern exposure or eastern exposure, where they're gonna get some sun, but again, early in the day and then shading in the evening, that's where they're really gonna do best for you throughout the season. Do deadhead them, go around and pinch and go ahead and take those spent flowers off because more will come for sure. And the bees, oh my gosh, if you're looking to bring pollinators into the garden, they are just, those flowers are designed for attracting bees, letting them go right inside the Snapdragon, gathering all that pollen and nectar and flying right back out and going to the next one. So look for your Snapdragons. Another thing that we're smelling out here is the sweet Alyssum. So again, if you're looking for a nice little filler plant, annual plant, wonderful fragrance with the sweet Alyssum, of course. This is classic. And again, another one of those cool, tolerant type annuals. They really like it cooler in order to kind of keep on blooming for you. So check out sweet Alyssum along with geraniums, marigolds, wave petunias, Dianthus. There's a lot of annual color to choose from. We're out in the nursery and we're actually looking at some lilacs. Check this one out. This is a PW. It's called Centura Pura. Look at that. It's a light lavender, slightly bluish color, but the panicles are absolutely enormous on this plant. This is going to be a larger type lilac, so it is going to grow up and be a taller shrub, but beautiful, beautiful flowers, great fragrance, of course, classic fragrance. And this is part of that hyacinth flora family. So they're one of the earlier blooming lilacs that you'll find. And then right next to me down here is kind of a contrast. So this is going to be a Korean lilac. This one's called Persimmon. Persimmon is obviously a miniature, very, very small foliage on this plant. Beautiful panicles, again, a little bit later blooming here, but kind of a pinky lavender color. Again, smaller flowers, but still a great fragrance on this plant. You're looking at maybe 2 to 3 foot tall and wide on Persimmon. And lots of times we will put Persimmon on top of a tree standard. So you can have a nice little compact lilac tree as well with Persimmon. As Taylor and I were walking through the nursery, we happened upon a new Scotch broom. This is from Proven Winners. It's called Sister Rosie. Look at those flowers. They're a beautiful blend of kind of red and pink and yellow. You'll see these guys. They are early bloomers, spring bloomers typically. This is a nice compact variety, stays about 2 to 3 foot tall and wide. Really awesome plant and just gorgeous, easy care. So if you have a sunny spot that's drier, well drained, that's where they really like to be, ultimately kind of a water-wise plant. We're out by the azaleas, and the rhododendrons. Azaleas are pretty much in full bloom. There are some that are still budded out there. Again, great plants, very, very giftable. For success, again, remember your azaleas and rhododendrons really prefer that morning sun, evening shade aspect. So Eastern exposure is always going to be the best site for them. Underneath larger canopy trees, that's okay too, as long as they're getting that shade and they need well-drained soil. Don't plunk them down in heavy clay soil. They will not do well. They suffer from some root rot issues. So again, make sure that they're well drained, planted up and mounded, so you know that that water is always draining away from them. So many beautiful colors. Stewartsonian is one of the most beautiful reds. It's a beautiful fire engine red here. And then some of these shorter varieties that are a little bit more compact, these are the Gerard series of azaleas that were actually developed up in Geneva, Ohio. So Gerards are very, very popular around here. They do a really nice job for us. But you have, Rose, you have some of the whites. This one is kind of a pinky red. It's called Christina. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Some of your flowers will be freckled or speckled inside too. So there's lots of variation here. This beautiful white is called Delaware Valley. Again, so you can't go wrong with azaleas. Now, farther down, and again, these azaleas are going to be evergreen azaleas, so you're going to retain the foliage all season long, or I should say all year long. And then you get the spring flowering, okay? So it's a really, really great plant. Again, your darker colors are going to be attractive to hummingbirds. So just so you're aware, the reds for sure, the hot pinks, absolutely, that will also attract the hummingbirds too. Again, that trumpet-shaped flower, you can't go wrong, okay? It's always going to have some nectar hidden in there for the hummingbirds to come by. And I've noticed more than anything, a lot of bumblebees, they do like the azaleas, and especially the rhododendrons too. So we're going to walk down a little bit further. We're almost at the rhododendrons here. Again, rhododendrons, azaleas and rhododendrons are in the same family, okay? But the rhododendrons tend to be obviously a much larger plant, larger foliage, very, very thick and leathery, which is great for us in this area. It usually is fairly good as far as deer resistance. Azaleas, good deer resistance again, but that smaller foliage, they might nibble a little bit more than some of the thicker foliage. And what you see here, this purple, is called Dandy Man, and this is a proven winner rhododendron. It is an excellent rhododendron, being bred to be a little bit more disease resistant out there. So you don't see spotting on this. You don't see root rot issues with this plant. Again, please plant them in well-drained soil. You still don't want to plunk them down in clay soil, but they do really, really well. And look at these flowers, just large and vibrant violet here with the Dandy Man, beautiful freckling inside as well. And just over my shoulder here, this lighter color is actually called Color Wheel. And when it comes out, the buds themselves are like a rosy pink, deep rosy pink. And as it opens and starts to flower, like here, and as it opens and starts to flower, you get that bicolor effect because the flowers are really kind of a white inside, and they have the pink highlighting on the outside. So really, really beautiful rhododendrons, gorgeous, gorgeous gift, and just always great for Mother's Day. And if you're looking for the perfect edible gift, maybe check out the blueberries. They are in full bloom right now. All different varieties, from early bloomers to late season bloomers. And of course, with blueberries, if you can plant more than one, that's always going to increase your yields and your harvest ultimately. And, getting one for early, mid, and late season is even better. So you can kind of keep on picking throughout the season. Just remember, blueberries do need full sun. They love to be in 6 or more hours of sunlight for sure. They are native plants to Ohio, so they're pretty adaptable, pretty easy to grow. But remember that they like very acidic soil conditions. So when you're planting, add some soil acidifier, add Hollytone, right, to make sure that you're feeding them with that acidic fertilizer because they do like that lower pH. We're out in perennials, and look at the Meadow Sage. So we talk about Meadow Sage or Salvia. This is the perennial type of sage that you'll see out there. Obviously beautiful flowers, but extremely aromatic. Again, part of the mint family. It has those square stems on it, but look at all the colors. Now, this is the lyrical family here. We have silver tone, which is this beautiful blue, lyrical white, lyrical rose here. Nice compact growth. I want to tell you with the Meadow Sages, please cut them back. When they're 75 to 80% bloomed out, cut them back halfway, fertilize them. They're going to pop back out again and bloom for you. We can usually get them to cycle through blooms probably 3 times during the growing season. But they are really, really wonderful repeat bloomers, very attractive to the pollinators. Quite often when you come out and see the sage, the bees are out here. Not yet this morning, but I'm sure they will be coming out soon. And these large flowering types, this pink one is called Moulin Rouge. I absolutely love it. Moulin Rouge, and then also look at this dark blue. This is evening attire. And again, huge flowers on this plant, a lot of nectar to offer. So you're going to always see the pollinators coming through. And then some classic varieties. So East Friesland sage has been around for years and years and years. Very dependable, kind of that purpley blue as well. And this is called Blue Marvel. And Blue Marvel has really, really thick blossoms, and they're just starting to open up here. But when that opens up, you have a nice thick head, flowering head on it or spike on it. And they really are very, very showy in the garden. So try some Meadow Sage. Digitalis or Foxglove, beautiful classic cottage garden flowers. Obviously very, very deer resistant. There's a couple of reasons for that. Digitalis is actually used in heart medication, believe it or not. So if deer come by and browse, they do get a little bit of a heart palpitation from this, and they're poisonous plants. So just be aware that Foxglove are. But again, gorgeous plants in the garden and really great in sunny to part shade spots. They grow very, very nicely in a shady area. Just remember, many of the Foxglove are going to be your classic biennial. So first year is going to be the foliage production. Second year is going to be the flowering production and the seed production. So ultimately you would want to collect seeds and go ahead and sow them. And so you would do that every other year. So you continuously have Foxglove blooming and of course the foliage parts growing at the same time. So you always get Foxglove in the garden. This is Dalmatian Rose and Dalmatian Peach. And they are just a beautiful, beautiful series. Very, very strong stems, really sturdy out in the garden. Again, if it's a wind tunnel out there, make sure that you've got stakes, nearby to support them up. But other than that, they'll grow great for you. One of our favorites for May and Mother's Day, Dianthus, okay, or cottage pinks, or the biennials are Sweet William, of course, and we're having a spotlight coming out on Dianthus, but we wanted to show you all the beautiful varieties. I'm standing by the scent first varieties, very, very heavily scented, but again, folks, they're very compact, stems anywhere from, let's say, 8 to 12 inches. So not big or tall plants, I should say, but nice clump plants for very sunny spots, edges of the garden, rock garden, those types of conditions. That's what we're talking about for Dianthus. And there's so many beautiful colors. Tickled pink is a doubled deep rose. Scent first passion. Look at this bright red. So if you know that, mom likes the carnations, these are really, really great plants for her. Proven Winners has Paint the Town Magenta. This was their plant of the year, perennial plant of the year last year. Beautiful single Dianthus. Whenever you have a single flower, remember, the pollinators are going to come right to that plant. But again, very compact and repeat blooming, folks. You're going to see a lot of variety. But again, these newer breeds are just wonderful as far as repeat blooming and just really performing very well in sunny spots or containers in the garden. And for your perennial vine growers out there, look at these Clematis. So we have Bourbon here, which is a beautiful kind of burgundy, pinky red. And then Diamantina, which is basically a double flowering, and she hasn't quite started popping up these central petals here for that double flower, but a beautiful, delicate kind of lavender, periwinkle blue. And with these Clematis, again, we grow Raymond Evison Clematis, and they are the most floriferous Clematis in the world, and beautiful varieties. These two varieties are a little bit taller. They're going to be that 5 to 6 foot that will fill up an entire trellis. Some Raymond Evison varieties are going to be a little bit shorter. They're more bred to be kind of enjoyed in a container on a shorter trellis. So definitely check your tags out. Make sure that you see the height requirements, because there are so many different colors, so many different varieties, and again, varying heights. Whenever you have Clematis blooming early, of course, right around Mother's Day, these are the ones that you typically don't want to cut back very hard in the garden, okay? So do be aware of that. If you have a later season or midsummer blooming Clematis, those are the ones that usually can get cut back a little bit harder in the spring. So kind of keep that in mind as well. But gorgeous, gorgeous flowers. Many of them will repeat bloom throughout the season. Go ahead and cut these if you want to. You can float them in a vase or a bowl of water. They really are a lovely, lovely plant. And of course, Clematis, they like full sun on their foliage and their flowers. They like to keep their feet cooler, okay? So make sure that you're mulching and really trying to keep the moisture in around their base, and you will have great success. Enjoy.